So if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, I've got to quit my job so that I have more time to build a successful music career. And you're probably wrong. What's up, guys? Brandon here from KDMR Music. This is the channel that teaches you how to succeed in the music business. So if you're new around here, I make videos every single week. Sometimes we talk about music marketing. Sometimes we talk about different strategies. Sometimes we break down different strategies that artists have used in the past. And then other times I just talk to you straight up like this, giving you some real advice on how to succeed in music. So if you're interested in that type of content, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button that's on the screen right now so you don't miss out on future videos. So if you've been following this channel for any length of time, then you know there's a lot that goes in to building a successful music career. It's not just about making music. In fact, making music might be 10% of what you need to do to be successful in the music business. I mean, there's all sorts of things you got to do. You got to be on social media, right? That's one thing I hate. I hate having to be on social media constantly to make sure my business is running successfully. But hey, it's a necessary evil. You got to be on social media. You've got to do photo shoots and video shoots, and you've got to make sure all your royalties are registered for. You've got to make sure you're going out and networking and meeting people. You got to perform at shows, and if you're not on the level where you can book your own shows yet, you got to go to open mics and different showcases, and the list goes on and on and on. And if you're like most people who I come in contact with, you're doing all of this while working the job, whether it's a part-time job at like a sandwich shop or a Starbucks, or even a full-time job. Some of you guys have actual career jobs where maybe you went to school and got a degree and you're working for a corporation somewhere, putting in a full 40 hours a week, sometimes 50 or even 60, especially if you're in sales, right? And what's really, really difficult about that is that, the more you work, it feels like the less time you have to do things that are related to music, right? I know when I was working full time and trying to pursue music, it would be difficult because it's like, you know, you work 40 hours a week and then you may have a commute that's even longer. And by the time you get home, you don't even want to touch anything. You don't want to look at a computer screen. You don't want to be watching TV. You just want to sleep, right? And you can find yourself depressed because you're like, man, I got to wake up and do this tomorrow, right? And so for most musicians, when I talk with them and we get a strategy together, one of the first things they say is, oh man, I got to quit my job. I need to really go hard. I got to go hard. And then there's so many other people out there that will tell you that you're not taking yourself seriously enough if you don't quit that job. And I'm here to tell you that those people are wrong. And you're probably wrong if you think you got to quit your job to be successful, right? Now, we've talked about on this channel different funding sources and ways to fund your music career, right? One of those being Kickstarter. I've got an artist that I spoke with on my podcast. His name is Nance. He raised over $10,000 on a Kickstarter campaign while working a part-time job, right? So working a job isn't evil and doesn't necessarily keep you from your music business goals. You just got to be strategic about it. Let's talk about a few reasons why you should not quit your job. Well, for one, operating a music business is expensive. Operating any business can be expensive, but music is one of those ones where it's like there's a lot of money you got to spend up front. You got to spend money on recording costs. And even if you don't go to a studio, you got to buy studio equipment. You've got to spend money on just manufacturing the music if you're printing up CDs or merchandise, right? You've got to spend money on your album artwork, the promotional campaign. If you're hiring a PR agent, which I say you shouldn't hire one just yet, you probably can do things yourself. But you may need to pay one of your friends in pizza to help you sort through people's email addresses and get things sent out, right? There is so much that you're going to need to spend money on in order to be successful, right? Facebook ads, Instagram ads, blog posts. Some people charge for blog posts. I don't think you should pay for those, but you're going to spend a lot of money in the early days just trying to figure out what's what. And if you don't have a job, you can very well end up spending your way into sleeping in your car, or worse if you don't have a car, right? This money that's fueling your music career has to come from somewhere. And most of you guys that I come in contact with are not making consistent revenue from your music just yet. Well, if the revenue is not coming from your music, it's got to come from a job, unless you got a trust fund somewhere. So you need that money. Now, if you've got a job that just doesn't work well with you building a music career, maybe you've got to take time off to perform at a show, right? And your boss just isn't cool with it. Well, that's something you got to think about. Maybe you should switch jobs. Maybe instead of going full-time, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, maybe you should just drop down to part-time. Maybe you can get a job at your local guitar center, right? Now you've got a job that works well with your music goals. If you've got questions about gear, well, you're up close and personal with the gear every day. You get a discount on that gear. And you're around people that don't suck the soul out of you every single day. So when you go sit down on your lunch break to write that song, you feel fresher, you feel more energized, more inspired. There are a lot of reasons why a day job is not a bad thing and why you probably shouldn't quit it, right? So again, the main reason is revenue. But again, along with that revenue comes stability. You can fund your music career, not even just your life, but I mean, if you get a well enough paying job, well, now you can put all that money toward Facebook ads and grow your career quicker, grow your fan base and your audience quicker because you've got the resources to put into things. You can put more money into your stage show. You can invest in lights so that your merch display is top notch, and that generates more sales. I know you've heard the phrase, it takes money to make money, right? And having a full-time job or even just a part-time job makes you money. You need it. It is necessary. Now, when should you think about switching out of that job and making music full-time? Well, that's pretty simple. There's two reasons you know that you're ready to quit your job. One is that you're making more money doing your music than you are at the full-time job, right? That's pretty obvious. Now, if your job's not paying you enough, it's not enough to just match a salary, but you got to make sure you've got enough money to actually live on, right? So that's one. And then two, if having a job really interferes with the things you've got going on and you feel like you could make a better use of your time if you focus that toward music. Now, again, this is not like I was talking about in the example earlier, but if anyone's running a business from home, then you know, okay, at a certain point, it just makes more sense for me to spend my time fully focused on my business, right? If I'm working for 8 hours a day, but I'm only treating or working 2 hours a day in my business, but there are activities that I'm missing out on. Let's say me, for example, I've got a podcast. I've got to interview people during the day. So maybe working a full-time job isn't always in my best interest, right? Because I may be missing out on opportunities. When you miss out on more opportunities because of your job than you could get while working a job, then that's how you know you need to switch. But that's a very small percentage of you that are watching this video. So my advice to you, don't quit your day job, at least not yet. Now, for those of you who have gone full-time with your music and you're just watching this video for fun, let me know in the comments below. How was your experience? How did you know you were ready to make that move? For those of you who are contemplating, what's holding you back? Is it the money? Is it the revenue? Is it just fear? What is it that's keeping you from quitting your job? I'd love to know. And so leave that information in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already so you don't miss out. And I'll see you in another video very soon. Peace.